Hey parents, before we get started, make sure you check out the notes on the video so that you have everything ready to go. All right. Hi, boys and girls. This is Miss Shayla and Judah, and we're happy to be here with you this morning. Thanks for watching. Today, we're going to keep going with our study of the fruit of the Spirit. So far, which ones have we learned, Jay?
Love, joy, peacefulness.
Love.
And
you have love there. Can you show them our love? This is a little love lime. And we've learned about joy. And we've learned about peace. Those are some good fruits. And what are we learning about today, Judah?
We're learning about patience.
Patience is a hard one. Parents might even say, grown-ups might say, don't pray and ask God for patience. Do you know why?
Because it's not like you can just say, I'm going to be patient, and then it's just not like that.
Yeah, you can't just decide to be patient. What do you have to do?
Well, you have to get an opportunity.
You got to practice. And if you pray for patience, do you know what God's going to do? He's going to give you opportunities to practice. So today we're going to have 2 opportunities to practice patience. The first one I have here.
Remember that actual thing that we had?
Right here, I have a treat. Judah, this is your treat. It's a mini mallow. We love marshmallows. Do you love marshmallows? And I think your parents might have one treat for you too. Now, Judah, this is your treat. So if you want it right now, you can have it. Or if you can wait patiently, then you can have something even better than a marshmallow. So what do you think? Do you want to eat this now or do you want to wait?
I'm going to wait.
You're going to wait. Do you trust me that your next treat will be even better if you wait patiently?
I double trust you.
You double trust me? You don't always double trust me though. Sometimes what happens? Sometimes what do you do?
I sometimes scream and cry.
You sometimes scream and cry when you have to wait. Like if me and Daddy are talking, or if I'm trying to do some work, or, you know, what's in a few days?
Birthday.
Your birthday. It's hard to wait for your birthday, and it's hard to wait for Christmas. And we're all waiting right now. What are we all waiting for?
We're all waiting
for coronavirus to go away. It's so hard, isn't it? It's so hard. But wait and wait and wait.
Yeah. And
we must. So today we're going to talk about waiting in the Bible and some examples of waiting in the Bible. In the Bible, there was lots of waiting. They waited for baby Jesus, right, Judah? From the beginning of time, God had a plan for us. And part of his plan was that Jesus needed to be born. And all of humanity waited for thousands and thousands of years for this little baby to be born. And where was he born?
In a manger.
In a stable. And then he was put in a manger. Not in a big fancy castle like a king, huh?
Not even in one little mansion.
Not even in a tiny mansion. It's crazy.
Because all the hotels and mansions were full.
They were full.
Why
So
were
we're
they
waiting
full?
for Christmas, and they were waiting for the first Christmas. And even now, do you know that we are still waiting? Because Jesus promised us that he would come back. And all of Jesus's followers have been waiting and waiting and waiting for him to come back. But God promises us, he says, I'm not making you wait for no reason. Do you know why God's taking a long time to come back?
Not really.
Because he's being patient with us. He's being patient with us because he wants everybody to know him. before he comes back. Isn't that great? So we're going to read a story today from the Bible, but it's not really about, well, I mean, everything in the Bible is about Jesus, but this story isn't Jesus's story.
It's Abraham's.
It's Abraham's story.
And Sarah's.
And Sarah's story. And
Isaac's.
Isaac's story.
Isaac goes along at the end.
He comes along at the end. So we have this picture here. This is a picture of Abraham. And he's looking up at the stars. Because God made Abraham a promise. God told Abraham, I'm going to give you a family that is bigger than all the stars in the sky. Can you count the stars in the sky? There's no stars in here. That's the ceiling. But if we tried to count the stars in the sky, if we went somewhere where we could see them all, we wouldn't be able to count them. Even scientists haven't counted all the stars in the sky.
But they tried.
They try. They lose count though, don't they? You have to start over.
Mm-hmm.
I can't count that high, and neither could Abraham. And he laughed and he said, could that be true? I'm really old. Do you know how old Abraham was when he had his son?
No.
He was 99 years old when God finally kept his promise to him. Do you think that Abraham probably got tired of waiting?
Mm-hmm. He did.
Yeah, I bet he did. Do you ever get tired of waiting?
For rest time to be
For
over.
rest time to be over. Judah hates rest time. I love rest time. I bet your parents love rest time too. Silas and Zeke are having rest time right now.
Yeah.
Abraham got tired of waiting, and Sarah got tired of waiting. Sarah always wanted to be a mom. She always wanted to be a mom, and when she heard God tell Abraham that she would have a baby, do you know what she did?
She cried.
She laughed.
She
was
laughed.
like, oh, that's such a crazy promise. But she wasn't laughing because it was funny. She was laughing because she was sad. Have you ever laughed when you were sad?
No.
Kind of a weird thing to do.
Well, I only laugh when I'm sad when I hit my silly bone.
When you hit your funny bone. Yeah. So Sarah laughed, but God kept his promise. And eventually they did have a baby.
Named Isaac.
And his name was Isaac. Look at that little baby. But get a load of how old these guys are. Look at all those wrinkles. I have some wrinkles. I just had a new baby, but I'm not this old. I'm old, but I'm not this old.
Look at they.
No, Abraham and Sarah, they waited for God's promise. And eventually he gave them a son. And they named him Isaac, which means son of laughter, because they laughed. They did laugh. And the problem, though, we always like to think that people in the Bible followed God all the time.
All the time. No.
But Abraham and Sarah, they got tripped up. And they forgot to be patient. And they forgot to wait with patience. So one day, Sarah said, I'm tired of waiting. I think that you should have a son with my servant Hagar. And so Abraham said, oh, well, okay, maybe that's a good idea, because Hagar was young. She wasn't old like Sarah. And so Hagar had a baby. Do you remember what his name was?
Mm-hmm.
His name was Ishmael.
Yeah.
And Hagar had the first son of Abraham. And God had some promises for Ishmael too, but Ishmael was not God's original plan. His original plan was for Abraham and Sarah to have a baby. So eventually, when Sarah did have a baby, it caused all kinds of problems with Hagar and Ishmael. And eventually, Abraham and Sarah sent Ishmael and Hagar away.
Why did they do that?
Because of sin. When we don't follow God's plan, things don't go the way they're supposed to.
Why did they send their servant away?
They sent her away because Ishmael and Isaac were fighting, and Sarah and Hagar were fighting, and things got really complicated. But did God take care of Hagar and Ishmael?
Mm-hmm.
He did. He took care of them.
He
didn't forget about them.
He sent an angel to come and rescue them.
He did. That's for a different story, though. So what we have to remember is that when God gives us an opportunity to wait, we need to do it with patience. And that means that we're not complaining and we're not trying to make things happen on our own time. We're waiting for God's time, right? Like Judah's birthday is on Monday. She's going to be 6. And we can't wait for her birthday. It's going to be so much fun. But if we just decided we're not going to wait anymore, if she demanded and said, I want my birthday to be today, would that make today December 7th? No, we can't make it be her birthday. What else are we waiting for? It's in your mouth. What do you have? What is it?
Tooth.
It's a loose tooth. It's our very first loose tooth at the Moss house. It's this one right here.
Now don't think Zeke's or lose all his teeth.
And so we're waiting for this tooth to come out. Now, what if we got impatient and decided to just yank that thing out of there?
It hurts.
That would hurt. That would not feel good. And you would bleed. It would not be good. We have to wait for that tooth to be ready, don't we? Like Connor. Connor had a loose tooth this week. And do you know what he did? He got a string and he tied it onto his tooth. And then he tied the other end of the string onto his remote control car. And with his remote control, he drove that car away and it popped that tooth out so easy. He didn't cry or anything. It was so cool. Good job, Connor. So Judah, when your tooth is ready, and it will be ready eventually, that tooth's gonna come out pretty easy.
We could maybe even do the same thing.
We don't have a remote control car though. Maybe we could borrow one. So, you boys and girls have been waiting so nicely. Did you choose to eat your snack already, your treat, or did you choose to wait?
I think waiting is better to get a bigger thing. Because that's big.
Judah decided to trust me and wait. So do you know what I have for her now? I have this big cup and it's full of mallows. I'm gonna let you eat those, but let's finish this video first, okay? The other thing that we'd like to encourage you guys to do today to practice patience is to choose somebody from church, somebody that you haven't seen in a while, somebody that you don't get to talk to very often. And maybe it's a kid from class, or maybe it's somebody grown up, somebody from church, and write them a note or draw them a picture and send it in the mail. When you send it in the mail, leave a little note in there asking them to send you something back, a card or a picture or some stickers or something. And see if you can wait patiently for that response in the mail. Remember that it's really important that we keep loving each other, that we keep talking to each other. We have not forgotten about you, our friends at church, and we miss you so much. And we're having a hard time waiting for this coronavirus to be over, but it is going to be so great when it finally is, and we can finally all be together safely again.
Most of you are going to
We love you, and yeah, most of you will be in Journeyland. Some of you aren't quite big enough yet, but soon. We love you, and we hope you have a great week, and we hope that you participate with the cards and the letters and the pictures, and don't forget to let your friends know that you're thinking about them and that you love them. Have a great week. Bye.
The fruit of the spirit's not a coconut. Fruit of the spirit's not a coconut. You wanna be a coconut? You might as well hear it. You can't be the fruit of the spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the spirit's not a banana. The fruit of the spirit's not a banana. You wanna be a banana? You might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, and self-control. The fruit of the spirit, not watermelon. The fruit of the spirit, not watermelon. You wanna be a